Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Calumet Perspectives. I'm your host, Stephen Haas. With us today is Annetta Jones, Purdue Extension Educator for Health and Human Sciences here at Purdue. Cal and Annetta, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Stephen. It's nice to be here.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into the Purdue Extension Educator role.
Well, I went to Purdue back in the 80s and graduated there with a bachelor and master's degree in home economics education. I had a family member that was in the extension service at that time, that's what we called it. And so I followed in her footsteps and became an extension educator for 4-H, and at that time we called it Consumer and Family Sciences. And so I've been with Extension for 27 years, and my teaching specialty is family resource management, but I also do foods, nutrition, food safety, a little bit of parenting, and family well-being.
So the whole home kind of thing.
Yes, anything in home economics, we try to provide information that will help families improve their lives through our programming and information publications that we provide.
And is that pretty much what the extension does, is provide the home economics
Well, we do have several other program areas. Our office also is responsible and organizes the 4-H program, which is probably our most popular program area. We also have ag and natural resources. So we provide the education and training for our Master Gardener program, and we have economic and community development that works with our leaders in the community to stimulate the economy and help to educate people on how to become better entrepreneurs for their small businesses, or if they're starting a business also.
Well, and you offer some pretty basic home economic tips that just about everyone, I mean, everyone lives in a home, hopefully, so they can take advantage of these things. What are some of these items and tips that you offer through the extension?
Well, we do a wide variety. In family resource management, we really focus on how to maximize your dollar, so how to get the most for your dollar, and that's really a passion of mine, though I'm probably not the expert of all experts, but we do have a lot of resources that can help people. And one of the things that I would say when you talk about resource management, we really have to consider the resources that we have. We basically have money as a resource, we have time as a resource, we have our energy as a resource, and we have the knowledge that we have gained either through education or through practical skills that we've taught ourselves. And so with all of that, then, we're able to maximize our dollar. Of course, the way you spend your dollar and the way I spend my dollar might be two different ways because of the values that we have and our wants and our needs. And so we try to use all of that information to really help consumers get the best for their money and make the most of their money. Sometimes we go down a path of spending our money in a way that really isn't very beneficial. We aren't putting our needs before our wants. And you know, a lot of people will get their paycheck and they think, oh boy, I can't wait to spend this on, you know, a boat or going to shopping at, you know, a department store or purchasing electronics or, you know, something like that. And so we have to stop and think about how are we really spending our money before we spend it rather than later afterwards, because then it's often too late to take it back or make other choices. So we need to think about that beforehand. So advanced planning in all aspects of our life is really beneficial if you want to save money and to maximize all of your resources.
Well, it sounds like that pretty much cut out impulse purchases then, huh?
Yes, those are
But they're so much fun.
They are fun, and sometimes an impulse purchase could be the very best way to spend your money. You may go into a store and something that's on your list that you have to have or need to have or are going to have in the future is sitting right there discounted, and so that's the opportune time to buy. That's excellent. But if you're walking past the donut shelf and you see that you want a 75-cent donut and you purchase it, you may think, well, 75 cents, we can all afford 75 cents. But if you add that up time and time again, during the year, you may have spent $200 on donuts without having any real benefit to your life. You know, those aren't really the healthiest choices either. So there are two ways that we can be detrimental to ourselves financially and nutritionally by choosing an impulse buy like that.
It's amazing how that little bit of money really can add up. Before the show we were talking, and you pulled out this little slide chart here. Yes, really handy method of just how little money you could actually accumulate within a year. And you brought up a good point about $1 soda pop, you know, or soda. Everyone pays about $1 for a can of soda. You know.
Exactly. When I first started doing this program some 15 years ago, we were talking about 50-cent sodas and how expensive those can be. So we were talking about $182, I think, for if you purchase 50-cent sodas every day. Now we're talking about $1 soda, or sometimes $1.25, but or even more for a soda. And if you do that every day, you're talking about $365 in a year. You have to ask yourself, is that really the best way to spend that $365 on soda or coffee or donuts or some of those kinds of, even small purchases do add up.
And that could be a 40-inch plasma TV there at the end of the year.
That's exactly right.
And you'll have that for a long time, a lot longer than you had the can of soda.
That's exactly right. And you can enjoy it every day. And that might be a much wiser investment for your money if you think that you're going to have to cut expenses on entertainment dollars during the year. Then that purchase of the TV might be able to take the place of all those other entertainment dollars, or might have to service that. So that could be a much better investment.
But the big problem with this is it takes that D word. It's called discipline.
It does. But don't we have to insert discipline everywhere in our life? I mean, really and truly, I think that's where we've strayed as far as maximizing our diet and nutrition. We just haven't implemented discipline. We all know what the rules are.
Right.
We just haven't implemented the discipline. So a little bit of discipline. We don't have to do everything different right at first, but maybe tracking our spending, seeing where we can save money, or tracking how much we've saved can be great ways to inspire us to implement a little more discipline, so that as we see that savings grow, or we see that we're able to pay our monthly bills easier by saving money on those little purchases, then it's going to be easier to keep disciplining ourselves and saving.
And that does sound like a little bit of a pain, you know, I have to start keeping track of everything. Well, a little notebook just jotted down in a couple of weeks, I imagine you'd be in the habit pretty well.
Well, one of the things that I do is put an envelope in my purse. And so every time I get a receipt, I put it in that envelope. If you buy gas and you don't get a receipt, or you make a purchase somewhere you don't get a receipt, then we suggest that you write it on the outside of the envelope. I like to go through those purchases every week, but you could wait until the end of the month and then go through it. Then categorize those expenses. How much did you spend for gas? How much did you spend for snacks? How much did you spend for lunch out? And that way you'll get an idea as to how much you're spending in each of those categories, and you'll know where you need to cut or where you can cut back so that you can make better choices.
Well, it sounds like it may allow you a little bit of wiggle room as well, because, for instance, gasoline, the way that it fluctuates now, you know, where first we were paying $4 something, now it's down to $3 something. By the time the show airs, we could be down to $1. Well, I don't think it's going to go that far.
I don't think that day will come again.
I'd be kind of frightened if it went that low, but I mean, I guess it does allow a little wiggle room in case something else in your budget goes out of whack.
Well, and it does allow you to plan ahead, because if you know that you're spending $400 a week on gasoline, then you have to allow for that every month, versus being surprised at the end of the month you have no money left and you still need a tank of gas to get around town, get to work, get to class. Then you're really jeopardizing what you can do with your money and putting yourself at risk for having to take a loan out or something else. So, you know, planning ahead really is beneficial to us.
And it takes a little organization to do this too, though.
It does, but there are a lot of organizational tools out there. The internet has them, we have them at our office. It's really a budgeting tool. There are all sorts of things online that you can use to help yourself and get organized. So that's not hard. And really, if you just write them down, that is probably organizational enough. You probably make a list of the things that you want, and probably the things that you need, and you keep that organized So we could keep these other things organized too if we tried.
Yeah, it does take a little bit of discipline and organization, but anybody can get there.
Oh, most definitely.
And like you said, I think it's more important to note that it just may take a few small things at a time to make a big difference in the end.
Oh, most definitely, especially if you can identify those big things. If you are, for example, I just sat down and looked at my list this past week, and I ate out every lunch this past week. Well, one day it was $10, one day it was $5, and another day $3. Oh, well, bravo for the $3, but in reality, I'd spent $20 in 3 or 4 days, which over a month, that's $80, and that's 2 tanks of gas if you look at it that way. So what other things can we do with that money that we're spending in a way that's really not beneficial? I could have packed my lunch, and then if you think about, oh, I bought food that I was going to take for lunch, but I didn't use it.
You wasted that then,
and
too.
I wasted that. So that's additional money that we have to recognize as being wasted or not being put to good use. So you really need to analyze all of your behaviors. There are many strategies that we could implement to save ourselves money, but we have to be willing to take a good hard look at the things we're doing.
That's the tough part for sure.
It is hard to look at yourself and make different choices, but just by using coupons, you can save money. Now, my husband doesn't really like to use coupons, but I'll make him turn around and go back and pick up the coupons that I've cut out so that we get additional 20% savings or something like that.
Sure.
If you think about all of the money that comes into your house and goes out of your hands during the year, and you could save 20% of that, say you're spending $20,000 on everything that you're spending money on, and you're saving 20% on that, then that could be $2,000, $4,000. You know,
that's a down payment on a car, a good significant down payment,
or an investment into your retirement, or you know, it doesn't always have to be spent, Stephen. But you know, there are all sorts of options for the consumer if they have that kind of money available. A lot of people get themselves into trouble just because they don't have even $1,000 into savings. You know, if you don't have that $1,000 when your car breaks down, you need a flat tire repaired or new tires or brakes, then you are scraping and you're fretting and you're worried over how you're going to pay for that. So having that even $1,000 or $500 cushion can be very soothing and very beneficial for your economic perspective.
And it could also prevent a horrible domino effect that could occur within a family's finances. Unfortunately, Annetta, we're all out of time. It's been fascinating talking with you, and thanks so much for all the good tips that you provided us here. The Annetta Jones, Purdue Extension Educator for Health and Human Sciences here at Purdue University Calumet. Thanks once again for being on the program.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more show right after this. Welcome back, everyone. We're with John Friend, the athletic director here at Purdue University Calumet. And John, you've been on the program before. Welcome back to the show.
I have, and thank you very much for inviting me.
And this time you come back with a brand new title, but it's really not so new, huh?
It's new for the 3rd time.
Well, congratulations on that. And that was by design, I presume.
Right.
So tell us, what's on tap this semester in the athletic department here at Purdue University Calumet?
Well, more than any time I've been here, and I've been here a long time, as you know, off and on, this is the most exciting time that I can recall due to the leadership of Howard Cohen and the athletic director who left this summer, Bob Bunnell. We're in the midst of a 5-year development plan for athletics, adding teams, adding facilities, and a lot of things are going on. We now have 6 sports. We've added 4 the last 2 years. We're anticipating adding 2 more for next fall, and then the final 2 would be the fall of 2020.